Jeff Peters has been brought back in at the cost of MX Daner. And I'm giving the captains the heads up, starting in 10 seconds time. So we're heading into the third and final battle between the Flying Jambon and the Good, the Bad and the Pegas. No plane chases again from either side, so they're battling with the same planes for these 3 battles, and now it will come down to who executes their tactic the best or who responds the best to the opponent's tactic. Now we'll find that out in the next couple of minutes. All players seem to have connected, which is nice. Chasey again with rockets, and Cheater also with rockets and very likely also bombs. DFA this time going straight through the center, and Grim signals on the map attention to sector C5, regroup here. And apparently they are expecting Jambon to go to this side again like they did in the first match and hope to intercept him. If not, then both teams are most likely on opposing sides of the map and both will very likely start to simply attack all targets on site, ground targets that is. However, so far still no grounded target attacked by the Flying Jambons. And there we go, both teams went different sides. Flying Jambons decided, okay, it would be too obvious to go in this area again. We're going the same place as now. And whilst Grim instructs everybody but Cheater Hater to go to the area where the targets were attacked, and Cheater Hater will do some ground attack runs in the meantime. 2 rockets, 3 rockets even fired on the warship, and he finishes it off with his guns. Pulls up in time. We'll probably rush for... I would have expected the HQ actually. He might still do that because he should have bombs. Cheater Raider on his own quite effectively attacking these ground targets. And it looks like he indeed will be taking out the headquarters with bombs and then fly away, whilst in the meantime Flying Jambons have been spotted. Okay, and the supremacy advantage is now for the Good, the Bad and the Pegas, whilst everyone from both teams seems to have been spotted. Cheater Raider decides to run away, and the Good, the Bad and the Pegas seem to run away from the opposing team as well, apart from Jeff Peters. And apparently they're looking at winning on superiority, or no, they will engage into dogfight. Jeff Peters has Bibi on his tail, Jambon engages on the real Pedro, Necropsychicus helps Jeff Peters out together with Grim on Bibi, whilst in the meantime Jambon is hammering down on the real Pedro, who does take Jeff Peters out, then gets taken out himself. In the meantime we see in the background Necropsychicus being hammered by Daedalus, whilst Mikline takes out Grim, and Cheater Hater is joining back into the fight now. Almost but not quite taking out Bibi. And Jambon chooses to engage on Daedalus. Chasey takes out Bibi, who was just on 5% just a few seconds ago. And Chasey in trouble himself, only on 16%. 1% health. Manages to stay for life, and now he goes down. Jambon engages on Signature, but gets distracted by shots incoming from Blackadder, and Necropsychicus now in a 2v1 situation. Whilst Jambon is against Blackadder, Necropsychicus simply trying to stay alive, not trying to do any fancy stuff, just making herself hard to hit whilst the supremacy is slowly ticking away in the favor of DFA. In the meantime, we can't see the dogfight between Jambon anymore and Blackadder. And there is a third player coming in, almost crashing into Signature, and that would have been a really nice for DFA, but that didn't happen. Now it's Jambon on his own against 4 opponents, whilst the supremacy points are even. Mickline simply trying to lure Jambon down. Jambon isn't really falling for it and pulls back up again. Keeps the altitude advantage, so he can decide where the bullets will start flying and when they will start flying. Now choosing to dive on Signature as he is only on 21%. Takes him out and quickly climbs back up again before Mickline or Daedalus really get in range. Blackadder now shooting at him as well, only on 18% HP, and Jambon notices that and decides to dive on him. No, does not dive on him, instead chooses to salvage the altitude he has at this very moment. He will have to engage one moment or the other though. On the other end, he is actually winning on superiority if he plays like this. As Mickline on his tail. If I were Jambon, I guess I would try to win on superiority and just stay alive. He killed the engines of 2 of the 109Fs and is significantly higher than the other 109F. He's now rapidly closing in though. He forces him to simply turn away by firing some bullets in him, whilst again my lovely cute little cat is enjoying the party again. And it's now Blackadder seems to go for a suicide attempt here, failing at that. Jambon seems to be taking this home for now, whilst Daedalus and Mickline in the meantime have decided, okay, you know what, we're not going to win this, even if we are 3 against 1 or even 4 against 1 when it all started. Let's take out some ground targets instead, so you can't win on superiority. And Jambon, I don't think he really minds, because the longer they attack ground targets, the less HP they will have, because of the anti-air fire of those targets. Okay, now there seems to become a Mickline comes in to distract Jambon, whilst Daedalus keeps attacking ground targets. And it's probably the best option they have, because Daedalus has a dead engine and simply can't get to this altitude with a dead engine. And Jambon is still simply trying to stay alive and deal damage when and where he can. Mickline has kind of disappeared into the clouds though, and this could have be very risky from Jambon to actually dive down here. Jambon has now completely lost sight of both of the opponents and now has found the one on 13% who has given up on ground attacking, apparently afraid of dying, or is simply baiting Jambon to come low whilst Daedalus stays high. Yes, there we have, or whilst Mickline stays high, sorry. There we have Mickline, 33%, significantly lower as well. And Jambon choosing Mickline for now. Yeah, the Flying Jambons have decided to try and lure Jambon into the range of all these warships and transport ships and AA guns, so they can hammer down on Jambon's HP. But Jambon simply says, you know what, I'm just going to stay out of range of those things and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing all this time. And I kind of have the feeling Gentleman will... I can't see how Gentleman will give this up anymore. Midline again has to turn because else he would stall. Gentleman happily takes advantage of that to try and get some shots in. And then Daedalus is back up again, and so Midline and Daedalus are rotating who climbs when, so whenever Gentleman is diving, one of them can get a shot in. Although Midline seems to have given up on that, leaving Daedalus alone for Gentleman to almost take out. A 3%. Midline coming back in again and desperately trying to hit Gentleman, but miraculously none of the bullets seem to be hitting. It's as if there is some magnetic force just blowing all the bullets away. And there Daedalus finally goes down. And the patience with which Gentleman plays is just astonishing. Nothing that gets him out of his concentration. As he now dives down on the final opponent of the Flying Jambons, Midline. Also, Gentleman seems to have some trouble in hitting most of his bullets. And it's not a question of will it happen, but when will it happen. The best case scenario I can see happening for the Flying Jambons now is that Midline somehow manages to crash into Gentleman, forcing a draw. For now they will engage in a simple turn fight, but Gentleman is playing being not damaged at all when it comes to any modules. By the looks of it, should turn significantly better than Midline with all the damage modules on his plane. And you can see the Gentleman is slowly but surely gaining on him. The turn speed difference is marginal, but you can see it's there, and it's gonna be a matter of seconds really before Gentleman will be able to take him out. Seems that Midline is idling his engine though. Gentleman tried to make him pull out of his turn maneuver so you could take him out. In the meantime, still supremacy ticking away. And also the counter is going down. We're only at 3 minutes remaining. And Gentleman finally takes out Midline, ending up killing 5 of the 6 opponents on the Flying Jambon. Definitely MVP of this match. Gentleman, well played, and that means that Death from Above Pegas will promote into the next bracket, and which also means we'll be going into the final match of tonight, and that will be the guys who dated your cousins against a Turkish team, Istiqbal